Peace, peace, peace. Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge Radio. Place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot. We're here for volume two of this Cine Mental Series. And we got the magnificent decoded clan mind of this brilliant initiate who comes to us in one of those righteous names called Soul Sista Sass in the building. Soul Sister
Oh,
Sass.
oh shoot. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh man. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
You
Shalom. Oh
too.
my God. I'm
There we
sorry, I got
go.
so many
There we go.
open. Yeah.
All
I'm
good.
here
Good.
present. Okay.
Presence.
Present. Luke Cage. Cage.
Luke Kids.
Cage.
Kids. So you saw this, before we start with that, you saw this interview earlier
Yes.
today.
Yes.
Could you share your thoughts,
Oh,
with us?
you put me on the spot. Okay. All
Word.
right. So Derry Lord Jamar is very local. What am I saying? He's very vocal, not local. Vocal in
Mm,
on in the online community, Black conscious community. So um you can see him at any time. But he came over to talk to Knowledge Born Allah. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So, it was everything that I expected, because this guy is conscious and his he's very what I got from it is that he's very humble. He accepted that introduction from you, like wow, like you could see it, like he was really humbled by that, and I like that a whole lot. He's not this guy with his big head, because he does understand that he is legend. He is in the Black community, especially in rap music and Nubians, because that's a big deal. It just is. I remember it took me back to my childhood when I heard he was gonna be on, and because I used to literally sit next to the radio, so on Saturday nights and listen to the DJ Red Alert. um you
Who DJ Red
know
Alert?
doing the mixes and stuff. And I mean, it was Brand Nubian's a Tribe Called Quest. It was everybody, Black Sheep. It was a lot of good music and like conscious music. So to have him on and to see him, on Judah Now's radio was awesome. His ability to work with others. So they have different belief systems, but he spoke about, if they're like, on the same wavelength as him, he can build with people. So I thought
Right.
that was very, very nice, because a lot of people are not accepting of other people's belief systems, spiritualities, and things of that nature. And I think that's sad, um, especially when it's all. So, with that being said, he got into what was that 5% of stuff, like what do
Hmm.
you call it, the doctrine. It's not, is it a doctrine? I don't want to disrespect it. What would that be? Because people throw around that doctrine word a lot, so I don't want to be offensive.
It's a culture.
Okay,
It's a culture.
culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the proper way of saying it. All right, culture. And he kind of dropped some knowledge on that, because I'm not really knowledgeable about that. So I was, he was walking, the audience through that. So, I learned a lot today. And his views on the planets, the earth, and things like that. That was very, very, very interesting. I was kind of amazed by that thing. Also, his ability to see through the enemy. Okay, and to not get and not to be deceived. Undeceivables, so he's another undeceivable like us. Um and we have no sympathy for have done us wrong and continue to do it. So I was very happy for him to say that someone of his stature and you know especially of who he is, in the Black community. It's refreshing to hear that type of talk, because I resonate with that. So I hope everybody learns something from it. And you know, I don't know how what else to say about it. I will say it's enlightening. I think that's the highest level, and educational. So yeah, I hope everybody learned from it. What did you think?
It was worth the 5 year wait. And it's really apropos for the ascension of the broadcast. Like, 5 years ago, it would have just been all audio. There would have been a lot of other stuff that was going on. So to see this visually, it was like we were sitting next to each other, just building. The opportunity of elevation over the years with my own personal development in regards to learning how to speak again. War puts you in a very, very, very low state of being. You know what I mean? So I initially started this podcast, or whatever you want to call it. I call it, African liberation propaganda.
Platform, yeah.
So to be, to give a voice to the voiceless and to be the voice box of Africa. This is why this logo is so close to my soul, because it's a microphone from the mother. This is an ancestral umbilical cord from the mother continent to within the realm of the diaspora. So everyone is getting fed from this experience. So this opportunity to be able to give a voice to the voiceless, empower the ones who feel powerless, and to bring them back into the sphere and realm of their African centered consciousness is a duty that I don't take lightly and that I honor, as my ancestors would have it set up for me for this to be a part of my task. This is the day job. Nighttime, they have another task for me. You know, so the day job is really good. You understand? So given this opportunity, but you know, through the effects of prolonged exposure to war, it really put me in a place where I was taken aback. I really didn't want to communicate with people because people have their preconceived notions about war and what the hell we did in combat and all this other shit. So you're talking to people who have no clue of the experiences. So it made me withdraw from a lot of things. So you know it's different talking to somebody who has an understanding versus people who don't. And I still had a duty and responsibility that my ancestors have placed upon my shoulders, which is connected to my reason for existence, one of the missions, and one of the lessons that I'm here to learn. So connecting this all together along this path, the place that was the most cloudy was the place that was the gift of communication and bringing the communication out for people, celebrating and honoring and cherishing the gift that is the voice. I was voiceless. You see what I'm saying? I was voiceless. I had withdrew my voice. I didn't get an opportunity to address the world because I was focused on these other things. Being a strategist, being a tactician, um, being a person who solves problems, and an adjudicator. So, you know, my other gifts had suffered, and I wasn't conveying things in a manner in which they could even be received. You know, It was just always command driven or command oriented. You see what I'm saying? In an authoritative type of fashion. But the true essence of the message was lost. So I had to go back and find that which was lost. And it took some process, it took some correction, it took a whole lot of other things that went along with it. Refinement is one of them. So I had to go back into a deep study of self and remember why I'm here. So, 5 years ago, it would have been okay, but today it was epic. Today it was epic. It was a good opportunity to be a reminder of what the platform is for, how it's used, and the programs that are associated with it. So I think this was a good opportunity. So kind of laughed in the beginning. It was like, yo, it was worth the wait. It was worth the 5 year wait. So, there's conversations that I done had with, people on the platform before now that, you know, would have been different in this kind of mind frame now. You know what I mean? So I talked to him, I talked to Positive K, I talked to Killer Priest, I
Positive
talked to
K.
Hellraiser.
I got a
Yeah,
man.
yeah, he's coming.
Oh,
He's got to come back. He's got to come back. He's going to come back over here, and we're
oh
going to deal with this.
man.
All of these things visually. So to talk to these MCs, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of
Who
them, and
else?
for the ones that Judah Priest, that's my brother. Buddha Monk, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like Hellraiser, that's my
Mm,
brother. His documentary just dropped. So it's a lot of them. Having that opportunity to come through. So it's not just like this is haphazard. You know, um,
my God.
I talked to Ines earlier. I talked to
Mm,
Ines. He's gonna come. We're gonna do like a physical sit down interview, but I want to do a virtual one with him before that. So you know, these opportunities are presenting themselves. And just have to be in a proper position to receive them
it is
when they're
great.
there. And initially, I wasn't. But I was willing still. So, with this refinement and with this love, this black love, this African love, like I'm saying, it's beautiful, you know. So this opportunity to kind of correct some of the things. There was some other conversation that was able to be addressed today, and some things being vindicated, some names reintroduced into history that were kind of whitewashed that I was really
Mm,
upset about because people I know dearly, you know what I mean, deserve the opportunity to have the story told correctly. You see what I'm saying? So kind of got into that a little bit, but we didn't really, but you know, and this is why I had a chance to tell him like unsung was cool, but I want to hear it in your language, in your voice. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's very important. And I think that this is, one of the odes to and one of the pleasures of having this platform because you can do this daily. You know, Sister Tressa was on earlier before that, and she had the wonderful sister on there speaking about their experience and the sacredness of a sisterhood. Earlier today, I think that was remarkable. You know,
right.
a 1 year vision,
Mm-hmm.
you know, revisiting everybody coming in from different walks of life. We had two professors on, they were professors, they were reverends, all kinds of stuff, and it was on and the edification that was there dispels any kind of mind frame in regards to when we're speaking about unity that it can't be accomplished. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So in that vein, I'm just looking at things that are happening. You see what I'm saying? So, um, y'all better give a shout out to Corona and shit. You understand? Better
Hallelujah.
light a candle, pour out some libation for Corona and think about your ancestors. Think about your family. Think of the blessings and the gifts that
Yes.
you have. for all of your family to be together in one place. You
Mhm.
understand? It seems like it's if you look at it like it's forced, you're missing the point. But if you're thinking about that spirit of love, like, oh yeah, we here, you know, we here. No distractions. It's all us. Let's
Right.
do that. You see what I'm saying? And let's come out this more fortified than we ever been. You know what I mean? So look at these opportunities. Check in with your spiritual folk. Check in with your health folk. Check in with your elderly. Check in with your youth. Like use that. Use
That's
this
right.
time.
Mhm.
The creator of all is pushing us to come together.
That's right.
So you can look at this other stuff and be concerned with that shit, or you can see the blessing in the lesson that's being presented. Ain't no basketball games to distract you, none of that shit. Go look at your children. Your children been missing you,
Oh,
you
God
know?
is good.
All that. You see what I'm saying? So like there's no distractions, in the midst of it. So it goes to show you like who's truly in control. We
Mhm.
give a lot of power to, things that don't have any power. And we should be empowered by those forces that naturally work in us and around us that motivate us to be our best authentic self. You know,
Mhm.
so
That's
that's a good
right.
opportunity.
That's right.
So shout out
I
to the divine feminine force that comes to us in the name of Corona, because only a woman or if that maternal force can make you stop right in your tracks. Erica Badu had that song. I could make you put your phone
right
down.
now.
Okay, Corona
Mhm.
got you putting your phone down. He got you putting your phone
That's
down.
right.
So
That's
yeah.
right.
So to say the least, you can see that I was a little excited about having this conversation, today
I was excited for
in this
you.
space of celebration. So yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
That's right.
So
Whether or not you have to come together, and the blessing is, guess what? The schools are closed, so babies get to stay home and do their work at home. See, it's possible. They said, "Oh, it can't be done homeschool or whatever." They made it happen. The Most High made it happen.
real
So I
quick,
don't know how long it's gonna last.
quick.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I don't know how long it's
No,
gonna
I
last.
I
I'm
was
just
just
saying,
saying real quick, like yeah, like bam, like Thanos your ass to the house. Bam.
right, right. That's right. That's
They
right.
don't even want you to come to the hospital. They'll be like, hey, yeah, you got Wi-Fi? Yeah, get on the computer. We can do a virtual consult. How are you
Right.
doing? Bad? Okay, stay your ass at home.
Oh gosh. That's amazing. They said it couldn't be done before. It can't be done. Yeah, they
Right,
made it happen in a short
right,
amount of time. Them babies will be home on Monday doing their work online.
right,
So, homeschool,
right.
beautiful thing. You know, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So, congratulations on, that interview, the long awaited interview. You so fancy now, you know. Not that you were
Fancy.
fancy before, because Baba Amin is fancy, and his wife.
Yeah,
They're
that's
pretty cool
the
people.
fancy one. Now, if you're going to put me, you can't put me in that category, but that's royalty. You
Yeah,
understand? Him and
that's
my
what I'm
yo,
saying.
they fancy royal. You understand what I'm saying?
Guess
And
so. You were
I
fancy
told them
already, so I had
that
to take that back.
I told them they was gonna have anarchy over here if they didn't show up on Friday. I'm like, yo, are you still gonna tell me no Baba and no mama? What the hell? They don't like me. I got to go tell them. I'm like, so I had to turn it into a spades game. You got those books that gonna walk, and then you got a possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You look at that 10. You look at that 10 like this 10 might actually walk. We throw this 10 out there. I was like, what about live at 5 on Thursday? Yuck. And I looked.
Yeah.
I said,
Back it
oh
down.
shit, that shit walk. A 10. A 10 walk. That's a badass 10. Give me that book. So they came on Thursday and Friday.
Mhm.
So I think that was pretty ill. Thursday was
And
a
And
long day.
Lord
I think I did.
go ahead, what you say?
Thursday was a long day. It was like 7 to 8
Oh, yeah,
interviews. So it
yeah, I
was
saw that.
rough.
Yep, I saw.
Rough.
Lord Jamar did not cancel. You know, how neat is that? How great is
Right.
that?
Right.
You know,
He was ready.
you're blessed,
He was
sir.
ready. Ready.
That's right. Especially you get to talk about what you love and what you're passionate about. That's great. That's a great feeling. And then people
And I
appreciate
want
you.
to shout out everybody who was sharing. People were sharing. There was a lot of commentary that was going on. Like
Yeah,
I
I
just
shared.
appreciated that. I appreciate that. Like everybody, kind of came in there and was doing their thing. Everybody,
Mhm.
you know, that came in earlier that was posting comments, sharing and shit. I was like,
That's
hmm.
right.
I was like, speaking of roaches, where was your antennas? But I guess the high
You
profile
know what?
that did not
That's the greatest quote for this
did not
moment right now.
disrespect.
Where was
You
your
know, I
antennas?
need
Where-
everybody to subscribe. Where was your antennas when they was stealing my shit? I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be careful.
Don't be sorry. Be
Oh
careful.
man,
That's right.
be careful.
That movie is classic. Okay, that movie is hilarious. Oh gosh, you got me thinking about it now. Friday after
Now we
next.
talking about loot. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do episode 4 and I'm gonna do 5. And then I'm gonna speed it up tomorrow. I wanna do the whole season 2 all together. So
Yeah.
yeah. So these are like I said before, season 1 is where we get to learn about who Luke Cage is in the whole situation. Okay, so it does drag along, but for me that's the fun part. You didn't appreciate that, but to know everything, to get an
I was just
understanding of
talking
what's
noise.
going on. So,
I appreciate it.
oh, you was just talking.
And
Ah,
yeah, they had time. I read novels. You see what I'm saying? I love stories and I love character development. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like I'm
right,
opposed to that.
right.
I read every single book that Sister Soldier wrote, and I appreciated her detail for each character. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Each each character from all of her books could have been a book unto its own. So we saw Midnight, we saw Portia, we saw those characters, we saw Winter, all of that, develop into life forms, of their own, based off of her literary skills, the visual literary skills, the descriptive writing to take you inside of the story. Like, Lord Jamar mentioned taking you inside of their world on an
mhm.
album, on the project, so this is, a good thing.
He was
So
quizzing to make
I
sure
was
you
just
were official. He wanted to make sure you were
he was
official.
quizzing
I
me.
saw that. To make sure
I
you
was
were
laughing.
official. I
That shit was
know, but
funny because
yeah, but after you
I'm not.
answered, he was like, "Okay, okay, okay. I know who I'm dealing with. Okay, this is for real. Okay." He had to test you for a minute.
Yeah, and that's not really the thing that I do interview wise. You see what I'm saying? Like, especially because we had time. I didn't want to waste none of the time with banter for me. You understand? So it's
Right.
systematic
Mhm.
use of time. And when I saw that was giving more time than what we agreed to, I didn't want to squander it. trying to pontificate.
Right.
So I gave him all those times.
Oh gosh. So you appreciate character development.
So
Got
I
it.
asked for 20 minutes. Yeah.
20.
I
That's
asked for
it.
20
20
minutes and I
minutes.
got an hour.
You asked for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I asked for 20 minutes. Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
the way he was going on, I knew
I
it was
don't
gonna be an
like.
hour. He started getting passionate. He started getting really passionate and annoyed,
Right.
like how I get. And
And
frustrated.
it wound up working in the favor, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, back to what we were saying about character development. Yeah, it was excellent. The introduction to the characters, their role, their mentality. You got to look into how their mind works a little bit, for each one. So yeah, even down to pop, snack, crackle, pop. Man, that was classic, and that was what was his name? Eddie Faison? Oh, Louis Faison.
Yes. The one that passed away? Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
pop. Hmm.
yeah.
Snap, crackle, and
Remember him
pop. Yep.
from? You remember him from Coming to America? That's when I first saw him.
Yep. He lived in the slumlord.
Damn shame what they did to that dog.
What was the guy who he said? What was the name of the guy who threw himself
Yo,
down the
Stu,
stairs? Yeah,
you rich too,
he threw
motherfucker.
mother.
And don't be pulling down the
Put
stairs
her out
shit
the
with me,
third
you hear? You
grade.
conscious. And then he just stepped over. Every
Are you
week he doing the
conscious?
same damn thing. I was like, damn.
Are you conscious?
Yo, Stu. Yeah, he said, yeah, you conscious. He just stepped right over him like shit, like nothing. Every week he pulled the same damn thing.
They wanted to switch apartments with him, and he walked in.
Right.
What the you guys doing in here? He asked if the stuff was hot because they wanted to switch
He said,
apartments.
we seek meager accommodations. He's like,
You
what? We require a room. It's really full. He said, oh, you get this place right here. It's really fucked up. And you see how he did with the shoulder that money? He was like, well, come on in, gentlemen.
Yep, yep.
Better
And
not be wasting
they
my
wanted to
time. You
fit
got
in.
money.
Yes, they wanted to fit in. It was Semi's fault, but Akeem wanted to fit in with African Americans. With the so-called African American. I thought that was cool. I thought that was cool.
They got hood real quick, didn't they?
Yes, they
The
did.
Scully with the ball on top of the
Yes,
hat and shit. I was like,
they had to go look like. Yeah, that's right. Because that's trying to say that Africans are. They we have to drop it down a few notches. To fit in over here.
we got to
Because we doing a culture shock.
We got to get comfortable America. Trading places, golden child. We got to do some of this shit.
Oh my God, trading places we got to do because I love it.
When you think you're in your heartbeat, right? Yeah. He was in that motherfucking song. That shit was funny.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was the movie. That was the movie that inspired me to want to become a broker, even in to go into trading as well. That was the movie that did it. But then I learned, I learned quickly that it's just not a thing for me. So yeah, because of that same issue that was in Trading Places. So yeah, Trading Places was hilarious. Otherwise, he said, "Get the F
Motherfucking.
out his house." See, when
Hey, he cut the music, didn't he?
you see how that changed when you get your own stuff, it's different, When it's somebody else's, you don't care, but when you get your own stuff, you don't want nobody to mess up. You just totally change. So I love that part. He was picking up cigarettes off the carpet and yeah.
It's first. They said that's how he acted. life, so it wasn't like he had to tap into any kind of character for that.
Really? He was like that?
They said he, yeah, Charlie Murphy was telling on him, rest in peace, Terry.
Oh.
Kind of like this was his kind of etiquette, you know.
Oh, that's that. Oh, the foot couch. That's why Rick did that. Okay, that makes sense
Yeah.
now. Rick is. Oh my God. I agree with Charlie. You have to
He
punch him
went
in the.
upstairs. That girl was waiting in the bed. He said, "Get your clothes on and get out of here." I was like, "Damn." He was just begging for change on the street. He
He was
went from that
annoyed.
dude to this dude.
Yeah, he was annoyed. Yeah, now I
He just
understand.
tried to steal all his shit. Like he tried to. He's like, "Oh, this is mine." He started putting shit in this motherfucking pockets and shit. They said they did
He
that
said the
social experiment, and
Starbucks.
they explained like they did that shit to the letter. You see
Yes,
what I'm saying?
they did.
I was
Take
like,
a man
damn,
out of
this is how they do.
environment. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. And we can become great.
We
He
gotta
became
save it. We gotta save it for that breakdown. We could
okay.
just
Okay.
because that shit was crazy. That shit was really disrespectful. That was like some of the most disrespectful shit I heard language wise in a long
Yeah.
time. I was like,
Yes.
damn, this was just in that regular movie like that.
Yep.
It was like, you think I'd ever let a nigger run our
That's
family
right.
business?
That's right.
I
Yep.
was like, whoo, you don't like he
And the
said that shit too
answer
natural.
and the
It
answer
wasn't
is no.
no Mortimer. Yeah, their ass was on the motherfucking streets. The Dukes.
It's a reason
Mm.
for that. They understand what they did to us. They understand that whole scenario. That's why, yeah, yeah, yeah. We need to have that attitude. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna save that movie.
Um.
Got to do that.
Yep. We're gonna save it. All right. So we're gonna talk about. I don't know if it was a grenade. I'm gonna call it a rocket launcher. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Mm.
So the building fell, and they go back in the day. So they go back to his prison life. Um, and that was Seagate. So they start off by telling you what happened. So in the beginning, um, he was a cop. So Luke Cage was a cop. You said that yesterday. So he was a cop. He was also former
Mm-hmm.
military. Okay. He went into prison. The the corrections officer in there, the racist one, the crazy one, him, um,
Mm-hmm.
he targeted Luke because of his history in the military and him being a cop. So he understood how to fight. So he
Right.
was sought out to be a slave, basically, in the prison system. So but before all of that, we learned that his name is Carl Lucas. That's his real name,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned that he got his name because of the scripture Luke 4:18. So it did come from the New Testament. Um, so let me see. He had a sidekick in prison, who they almost beat to death because Luke wouldn't fight for them. So, to muscle him into doing it, they beat him down. And if he didn't comply, they were going to kill him. So he stopped and he started working for this corrections officer. And this was bare knuckle fighting. So it required a lot of blood,
Mm-hmm.
pain, a whole lot of stuff. So that's what he was in prison doing. Um, so basically, he became a gladiator. So that right, symbolic to. Um, I'm not sure if they do this in the prison system. I have no idea. I know that you talked about Undisputed yesterday. That was kind of
Mm-hmm.
different because it was like a voluntary thing and it had money. And it was backed by Italians, right? So this was kind of different,
Italian.
right? So that was different. Um, but this one, if he was to volunteer to do this, they said that he would get. He said to Luke, the corrections officer, the white corrections officer, who had black inmates working for him. Like, I don't even understand that. I don't
Remember
know.
that movie Penitentiary?
Really like watching like prison, and lock up and stuff. I'm not really into that. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. No, but I watch
It was
Undisputed. I watch Shawshank Redemption.
it was some
Dramas.
back in the day. I'm trying to remember who that guy was
It's
in that
called
movie.
Penitentiary.
Yeah, Too Sweet was his name in the movie. Too Sweet.
Wow,
Let me look at this real quick.
wow.
Um, it had three parts to it. It came out in '79. Let me
Ew.
look. This was like black exploitation at its fine. That's what I'm telling you. Like this is like none of these things are new. Like this is
Right.
damn, who was it? What was his name? It had that dude that was in Harlem Nights. He was like, I would shoot these motherfuckers, but I bet not crap. That dude was in there.
That one, the Snaggletooth. The Snaggletooth mother,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Told you I
yeah.
don't like no kids, yeah. They bring me back.
Yo, he was that serious. Like I told you, like these little motherfuckers in here while I'm shooting.
Yep.
He said, "Come on, baby needs some clothes. Baby needs some shoes, and you need some
Get
teeth."
get
That's what
some
he told
teeth.
us that.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was great. He was serious. He crapped right out. And that was what, the
Leon
20s?
I. Kennedy. That's who that was. Damn, this shit came out in 1979, November 21st. Yeah. Damn, he was young as shit. Now he look like a billion years old. Yeah, you had to see this. He kind of looked like Sugar Ray Leonard. That's probably why they had called him that. Yeah, see this from back in the day. Yeah, this was kind of like the premiere where they had the prison racket in regards to fighting. You see, everything
Mm-hmm.
else came after that. Uh, Undisputed 2. Michael John White was in there. They had that whole thing going on with that. But yeah, as far as the prison stuff, yeah. Yep. So it got Animal. You remember Animal?
No. I probably seen these movies but
Oh,
don't remember the title. I told you I have a bad memory. Like, I don't have an elephant brain at all.
yeah, Ben Rings was in Animal. There was a couple of versions of that.
I probably did. And then if I
And
seen it one time, yeah, I have to look at, like, oh yeah.
yeah, Nipsey Hussle was in one of those Animal films. Him and Gilly the Kid, they was there in the remake of one of those ones because there was a couple of different characters in Undisputed. Yeah, Ben Rings chose him for that film. Yeah, I think that was a long way to kind of introduce this prison fighting thing. I just wanted to give like a little reference to how old it was.
Uh-huh.
And
So 40
you
years.
probably didn't see that. You probably didn't see that film either. Short Eyes. That I was talking like you seen Lord Jamal's face kind of look like damn this motherfucker been paying attention to some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah.
film Short Eyes where they used a lot of the reference on like the Wu Tang albums and his album. It was like Yakub, maker and creator of the devil, Swine merchant. Like if you listen to some Wu and you heard that shit before, that's where it came from. That movie. Curtis Mayfield was in that movie. That was crazy. So like that was like a crazy little movie. They had it was showing you, what happens to a child molester in jail, basically. You know, they wind up killing his ass in there, as they should.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting joint. It was actually like a play that they turned into a movie. One of them old joints, short eyes. I had been watching that shit in Afghanistan. Like, y'all want to know where those samples came from? If you remember the W album, he said one day, what he said, one day I'm be walking down the streets minding my own business, and I'm be uh, killed by some pig, shot by some pig. I accept that as a part of my destiny. So he was saying because he Latino and shit, they was gonna kill him. See what I'm
Mhm.
saying? He saying who's gonna swear it was a mistake? I accept that as a part of my destiny. And he said something in Spanish. He said, "Oh, because I'm, basically because I'm, that's part of the fucking thing right there." So this is what they was talking about in the film. So this is where a lot of those uh, samples came from. That movie, The Education of Sonny Carson, and of course a bunch of kung fu flicks. You know, some of my favorite joints and shit. But yeah, they were fighting in that film too. Shit was crazy.
Mhm.
My bad. This is why we take all long and shit. I be talking crazy about a lot of this stuff, and we
Talking
ain't even get into nothing for the episode. Be quiet.
Oh, we left off with what? The penitentiary
Right. And he had the
and
sidekick who he was fighting for his life, basically.
right, right. So, which became his trainer because he was a 7. What does it say? He was a Golden Globe champ for 7 years. I don't know what that means. Um,
Golden
this
Glove.
guy had so he trained. Yeah, he was a
Golden Glove. You said.
Golden Glove champ for 7 years. Yeah, yeah. Um, so he trained. He became a friend and also the coach of Luke Cage. So um, with okay, so they said that. So the corrections officer said if he would fight for him, and this was before he was made to do it. He said that here are the benefits. He said you get to be your own man, untouched. Mm, 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 mm.
Hmm.
Extra, you know what that means? Extra ration, a
Right.
conjugal visit or two. That's it. So that would be his. So that wasn't even guaranteed. So um, Luke said slavery is always a good offer to a master. So basically, he said this is
Hmm.
slavery. You know, you putting me in slavery. So I noticed that the reason why Luke Cage New Yorker. He would read New Yorker magazine. It was because his friend and coach used to read it. He was referring to Lisa Bonet on the cover of it. But eventually,
Hmm.
this man apparently was killed. So it's sentimental for him. Luke is very sentimental. He even went back to look for the swear can and all the rubble. He was more concerned about that than the picture of his wife, which he left in and Misty went and picked that up. So yeah.
Sweet.
Um, right. So he's very sentimental. He's a very sensitive guy, and he really cares about people. Are you laughing?
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Um, very sentimental, this guy. So so it said something about guys were getting their sentences reduced for volunteering um, to be human subjects in prison. So I
Mm.
don't know if they were honoring that, but that was like the promise. We'll lower your sentence if you become a human subject. So Luke Cage was experimented on. It wasn't. He was beat. He was beat up really bad. He had very internal bleeding and stuff. And he did that because he was trying to protect the woman, his wife, which is her name was Reva, and she was the psychologist, I believe, and she was performing therapy or whatever. So he like kind of fell in love with her and he was trying to protect her, telling her not to come back to the prison. They're doing some iffy stuff in here and all this stuff. So he gets in the fight. They beat him almost to death. She goes to the doctor and says, "I need you to save his life." So what they did was they put him in that hydro machine. And a regular hydro machine is to help your body with circulation. So it helps to I forgot how it was explained to me. They put you in a pool, and what it does is it helps your blood move around your body. So so it's a type of therapy, hydrotherapy, or something like that. They use it on people who have like neuropathy. So, and I know that knowing someone who was doing that. So anyway, he was living underwater until he was repaired. Until he recovered, but it wasn't ready. They weren't ready. They weren't ready to release him. But the corrections officer said, "I need you to fight because I have bets and money I need to, make or whatever." So he opens the machine. It was too early. The thing blows up, right? And then we get a Luke Cage. We get the superhuman guy with the strength and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how that happened. So he went to jail not because his wife was killed. No, he got with her after he broke out of prison because now he's superhuman. He's now a fugitive. He left or whatever. So I think he was a cop and he got framed for killing someone. So he's known as a cop killer. And so he ran to New York City to get away and to be incognito, but he really wasn't. So after he got out the rubble, right? And like I said, he went to go look for the swear can. He told the media what his name was. And he did that on purpose because he wanted the people to know and Cottonmouth know that, I guess this means war. Like boulders, and he's throwing it looking for stuff in public and people are taking pictures and the media is there, whatever. And Misty is there watching him do it. He goes and he's getting ready for the funeral, right? Because Pop's funeral, right? Guess who was there waiting to dress him? Yeah, Dapper Dan was there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know Dapper Dan, it's a shame.
What are
Okay,
they? If they don't know who Dapper Dan is,
huh?
if they don't know who Dapper Dan is, what happened? Who are they? What's your
If they
word? How you identify them?
now you're confusing me because it's supposed to be natural, and now I'm thinking too hard. Yeah, now I'm thinking too hard.
You always call them something. Somebody is. What do you call
Oh, suspect. No, that's not right. Is that right? Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're suspect. Like, seriously, if you don't know who Dapper Dan is and you have to go ahead and Google it, that's a shame. So this guy is a legend in Harlem. He dressed everyone who ever went through Harlem, lived in Harlem. If it was an entertainer, a sports person, a actor, whatever. This guy dressed you. Um, you didn't have to go to an Italian what do you call them? suit maker,
Taylor.
yeah, tailor, custom suit, custom tailor to make your suits. You went to Dapper Dan, or he'll come to you. So, and he's still there. Okay, he's in Harlem. He's still there, and he's always dressed to impress. This guy, always. You never see him slipping ever. Right. So, he made his cameo appearance. He made, he put a suit together for Luke. So then, like, so okay, so while all this is going on, right? So Cottonmouth lost all his money, right? Because went in there, gangster, into Fort Knox. That's what they called Mariah's building, Fort Knox, right? So when he did that, the police was able to go in and confiscate everything. So they took all his money. Okay, so he had no money. So what he did was, I don't know if maybe you can shed some light on this. I don't know if he was doing this for a reason to reclaim what his power. Because like I told you before, he was losing power. Every time he turned around, he was just losing more and more power. So what he did was he put his goons out on the people. So he had to make money in order to go get his money. So he started, so they started robbing individuals in the community, the people, his own people in his communities, and going through the businesses and taking their money. He wasn't doing this to the foreigners now. He was doing this to and what they were saying was, don't blame us, blame Luke Cage. He's making you go through this or whatever. So the people went to Luke Cage and was like, you're gonna have to leave, get up out of here, you're causing all these problems, and whatever. So before the funeral, he had to go and reclaim some people's items, to go and grab up the goons, Cottonmouth's goons, and try to set things straight. And then he ended up at the funeral. When he got there, Cottonmouth was there, and they asked if anybody would want to speak or whatever. Cottonmouth got up there and basically made a campaign speech. Okay, that's what I call it. What he did. He made a campaign speech. And I just find that fascinating, because usually that's where, Black politicians go. They meet up in churches, okay, to discuss,
Hmm.
Black business. That's where they go. It's the only place you can go. And usually the only things that we own, right? Like, as far as like buildings, that can hold a large capacity of people. So that's what he did. He just said something like, he called Luke a stranger, a foreign interloper with arcane
Hmm.
abilities, saying that he's going to, so he made it clear, this is a stranger. This is not someone, this person coming in and ruining, our stuff. And I don't appreciate that. We're going to go back to what is ours. That's what he said. So he said it straight in the audience, even though they were getting knocked over by Cottonmouth, they agreed with him. Like, Luke Cage is the problem. He's causing these problems, right? So then Luke Cage gets up there, and he basically went through the speech of, we need to stop being individuals and start helping each other, looking out for each other, that whole spiel or whatever. So you need someone to help you fight evil. So that whole thing. So that is how I think, let me see. Yeah, I skipped ahead too far, but but that's what I do, right?
All
So
good.
that's I know. So I can go back. It's okay. But that's basically what happened, okay, because it was just way too much going on. At the same time, okay, at the same time, they're trying to introduce Claire to you. That's that Dominican girl who got thrown out of her job because, yeah, she got thrown out of her job because she was going to go to the officials because the hospital was raided by three men. One guy who had a line from his clavicle all the way down to his navel, but he was walking around alive, and he was doing like some arcane things. Okay, so basically she spotted a a hero, I guess they would call it, one of them. And instead of, so she said she was going to go to the police. She was fired and blacklisted. She couldn't go back. She had to come back to Harlem with her mother. So that's how they are into it. Luke goes in there to get something to eat or whatever, because now the Chinese place where he's at, it wasn't Korean, it was Chinese place. He is blown up, so he had nowhere to eat. So he went there, and that's when he met her, and they like kind of formed some sort of little connection or whatever. So that's how that thing got together, unfortunately. Um, so, um, so did I even have to go through that? Um, Probably not, but she plays a part in this thing. Okay. Um,
Hmm.
so let me see. We went through that. He told the media who he was. He was tired. He was no longer hiding. So we went through that. Oh, they mentioned he and his coach was talking about flicks. So let's just stop for a moment here, okay? Because this kind of ties in with the music and and I thought immediately Wu-Tang, because it's kind of that whole theme going through is centered around rhythm music and and black culture, but it's like rhythm music would stand out the most, I would think, especially in the scores and in the songs that they're playing. It chose Wu-Tang Clan for I guess as the main music. But they mentioned the Five Deadly Venoms, because we like kung fu flicks, right? We love it, absolutely. I even love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we
Hell
love this
yeah.
thing, right? So they mentioned Five Deadly Venoms, which everybody mentions, right? So if you can't, if
Yes.
you I just gave away secrets, okay? So that is, you're suspect, because even my mother knows what that is. Okay. Even my mommy knows what that is. Okay. He also mentioned Clan of the White Leader, the White Loaders, and then he mentioned Five Fingers of Death. Okay. So, but Luke asked his coach what was his favorite kung fu movie, and he said the China Connection with Jet Li,
Mm.
and said that was the better than the original. I guess Bruce Lee did the original, and he asked him which
Yeah.
one is
That was.
better. Hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. That was Trista Legend.
Okay, so the original. So he asked him which one he liked better, which actor he liked better. And Luke Cage was like, over Bruce Lee, really? You can't train me. That's what he said. So he picked Jet Li over Bruce Lee. Which one is better? Which one is better to you?
Remember they had we was talking about what was that movie? I Am Legend, and
Hmm.
he was like, "You know who Bob Marley is?" And she was like, "I know Damian Marley."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the Bruce Lee the largest comparison forever. It's like Jordan and whoever. You see what I'm saying? Jordan
Right.
versus whoever,
Hmm.
and
Right.
Bruce Lee. I think it's an unfair comparison because there was a Bruce Lee. Jet Li had to walk through and see what Bruce Lee had to go through. People were trying to kill Bruce Lee. People were trying to kill Jet Li. You see what I'm saying? Even down to
Yeah.
like certain scenes. I don't know if you saw Kiss of the Dragon.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that movie. Absolutely love it.
You saw Kiss of the Dragon. I know you saw Enter the Dragon. Like
Yeah.
there was so much parallel to that martial arts life career between those two. Like it's real eerie.
It's eerie, creepy. Okay. That is so close, right?
Literally, like they had like that the guy that Bruce Lee fought, that white dude that he fought in that movie Into the Dragon.
Hmm.
They had to stop filming for 6 months. They said because Bruce Lee told the guy that he would kill him. You know what I mean? Like he told him he was going to kill him. Like he had to leave the island. They had to get that white dude off the island. They stopped shooting the movie for 6 months. You see what I'm saying? Like that movie Kiss of the Dragon, that martial arts scene with the dojo,
Yes.
just like when they had Fist of Legend, he went there to the dojo. There was no Chinese or dogs allowed. Like that was an epic remake of something that really happened in history, but also, you know, that was Bruce Lee, Chinese versus Japanese kind of little beef that they remade it in two scenes. And they did it in Fist of Legend, and they did it in the Kiss of the Dragon. The difference with Kiss
Mm-hmm.
of the Dragon was they shot it because they told Jet Li that they was gonna beat his ass, they was gonna fuck him up. Somebody said that they was gonna kill him. That room full of people that was there. It's like, yeah, you've been beating everybody. We're gonna whoop your ass. And one keynote about Jet Li, which is the difference between him and Bruce Lee, is Jet Li fought world champions. He didn't fight anybody that
Right.
wasn't a world champion, like a real martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
those guys thought that they was gonna whip his ass. So they gave them a shot at him. And then after that, they made the fight choreography.
Mm-hmm.
So he fucked up everybody in that room. Literally, he whooped
That
their ass.
hotel scene was
And
great.
then they went back and shot the fight choreography.
Okay.
Like I learned that shit from watching the behind the scenes of
Mm-hmm.
uh, Kiss of the Dragon. Even that scene with that martial arts champion, that black dude, they just snatched across the table. He literally snatched that motherfucker across the table.
Yep. I
Like he
know.
thought they said action, so he snatched him up in the air over that table, and they just said, "Fuck it, let's just go with it." He's a martial arts champion. Those European stick fighters that he fought, they were martial arts champions. The tall guy and the short guy.
Mm-hmm.
Them, you see what I'm saying? So he was not in the ring or fighting against anybody who wasn't a martial artist. That's the difference between him and Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee fought Chuck Norris, in the film.
Yes.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had one scene,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't fight martial artists. He didn't fight any martial artists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the martial arts world kind of looked at him a little
Yeah.
different.
Who's the actor? Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, I don't want to stay too long on that. So the difference in between the distinctions, because there was a Bruce Lee, Jet Li had to fight 10 times as hard. Him and Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan. Bruce Lee
Jackie
discovered
Chan.
Jackie Chan. He
Oh.
discovered him as a stunt person. He was a stunt person that could work 10 to 12 hours each day with no problem. So
Right.
Bruce Lee kept him.
He did his
He's
own
like, no,
stunts.
yeah, he did. He That's how he got his job. Bruce Lee. You see what I'm saying? Bruce Lee
Mm-hmm.
gave him his job. So, when they say, "Oh, could you have beat Bruce Lee?" He doesn't even entertain those conversations because Bruce Lee gave
Mm-hmm.
him his first job, and this is how the world knows Jackie Chan.
Right.
So, just in those comparisons in between the two, you would see, a true martial artist who was a master sword fighter. He was the number one sword fighter in China for 8 years. Jet Li was. He wasn't a motherfucker to be
Wow.
fucked with. And he studied that wushu. He studied that wushu for 8 hours a day for years. You see what I'm saying? So, and he said it was just by accident. He's like, you don't get to pick your job. When he said, if you were, whatever you did, that's what you did for 8 hours a day. So he said he lucked up and got martial arts. He said he could have been a seamstress. You understand what I'm saying? So like that, it shows the social programming is completely different. He's like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up over here with this stupid shit? You see what I'm saying? Like it's like, nah, we need this, and this, and the children they catch them young, and this is what they do. So whatever they're doing, this is what they have done for 8 hours a day for most of their youth life. So the story was different. So just
I
based
wonder
off
if
of
that
that,
story is the same
um,
with Wesley.
you said what?
I wonder if that's the same type of story for Wesley, because he's a
Mm,
professional martial artist as well. And does all his own stunts too. And
right,
people who work with him was saying this guy don't stop, and we don't know how he does it. Even at his age,
right.
you know, they never really bigged that up, of course, but apparently he's
Yeah.
a master. So
Michael
Yeah.
Jai White. Michael Jai White is a black belt in 6 different martial arts, and
Mm.
he's a fighter. Fighter, like you can see it in his eyes when he talks. Like he just doesn't even be fucking around. Like but you could tell he's been fighting his entire life. You understand what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
could, there's a certain kind of fighter thing. Like Sylvester Stallone tried to imitate that, but you could see it in his eyes, like you could see it in Mike Tyson's eyes. You could still see that shit. That shit doesn't go nowhere. Like, so if you're a fighter, it's a difference. You know, like Bruce Lee mimicked that shit. Like he was a good actor in that regard. And the reason why he had his own style of martial arts is because he never finished Wing Chun, he never finished Wushu, any of those things. Like he started them, so he had to piecemeal for any of that. Um, but his philosophy in regards to putting everything together, um, it's what you would see today as mixed martial arts.
All right.
So it wouldn't be any mixed martial arts
MMA.
without
Yep.
that influence about jack of all trades, master of none. In that movie, what was that movie with Jet Li? Um, he fought all of those people around from around the world. They picked martial artists and world champions to fight against Jet Li. They found them from all over the world and put them all in the ring with Jet Li, and Jet Li beat all of them. Literally, he beat all of them. That big ass dude, he knocked him out. He literally knocked him out. It was like, how was the fight with Jet Li? It was an honor to be knocked out by him. He knocked that big ass European the fuck out. Knocked him out cold. You understand what I'm saying? Like he knocked him out cold. I was like, shit. Yeah. So it was kind of
Jet
showcasing
Li.
all of his talents and skills. And an ode to that one guy that he played in the guy he played the guy from real life. It was one of the guys because they had disrespected China and called him the sick man of Asia with the opium and all the other shit. So he literally fought to uh, improve the renown of China. What was you about to say?
Jet Li. Um, suffers from a thyroid disease now, so he doesn't do movies anymore. But he is playing the father in a new Mulan, Disney Mulan's movie that's coming out in the end of the month. That we probably won't even get
Mm.
all under martial
Oh
law.
shit!
But yeah, so I was very excited because I wanted to see the movie, obviously, but we'll probably, like I said, under martial law by then. So he, they would, he's doing the promotions and stuff, and they're doing interviews with him, and the interview asked him about Romeo Must Die and how
Mm.
he has an impact in the black, how they have like black people have respect for him, and so have supported him, okay, the most over here in America. Can you believe that? That he acknowledged when she said that. And he said that he said he was grateful, he was honored that the African American people would support him like that. He'd be like, forever grateful and everything like that. And he kind of like he was taken aback, by being asked by that movie, being asked about that movie and how it was big in
Mm.
America, and he thought about her, and you could see that he kind of got a little emotional, when he spoke
Mm.
about her. He said she was like, she had like a beautiful, she's very charming and beautiful. And he has like bad English because that's not his first language, and you could tell he don't
Right.
speak much, right? So
He didn't speak any
what
English, and he didn't speak any English in Lethal Weapon 4. None.
he didn't speak any in the Expendables either. I think he had like 2 lines. Uh, in
No, because
Expendables.
he couldn't speak English at the time. So
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah, and he was remember he was a bad guy in the movie and shit. You
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like Yeah, my bad. I learned so much little stuff about those little things in the background. Like they broke his ribs in that movie, Romeo Must Die, when they piled on
Yeah.
him in that football
Mm.
scene. They broke his ribs. Like
Oh.
he said he called his wife and said he don't want to do the movie no more. They broke his ribs. Like so, Anderson and Isaiah Washington and all of them, they fucked him up out there. Literally, they told him they was gonna fuck him up, and they fucked him up. Told you you wasn't the only one that knew some shit. I mean, he said that. He fucked him up. Yeah, that football. Oh. So again, like that's another significant thing that puts him in the category with Bruce Lee.
Mhm.
Another eerie thing. Bruce Lee studied all black fighters. Um, one of the
Oh.
grandmasters that I know, Steve Muhammad. His name is Sijo Sabir Muhammad. Now he was Steve Sanders back then. He was a martial arts champion on the West Coast. He beat everybody's ass over there. Everybody. And he said Bruce Lee studied him since he was a white belt.
So that is a true
He had somebody
story.
go
Oh.
film film him. He
Mhm.
studied black boxers. He studied Muhammad Ali. He studied black wrestlers. All of that. So this is where all of the shuffle and all of that extra little hip movement and shit came from. So this
The
is
swag.
this is
Yeah, the swag.
close.
Mhm.
So because they accepted Bruce Lee, they could accept a Jet Li. You see the parallel
Right.
again?
Mhm.
It goes back to it, you know. So Anthony Anderson is like dim sum. We call it motherfucker dim sum.
Mhm.
Big
Dim
ass.
sum.
Yeah,
Dim
dim
sum. Dim
sum.
sum. Dim
That's what
sum.
we call that motherfucker. And broke his ribs and shit. Yeah. So those
Yeah.
parallels is
Yeah,
amazing.
you could tell that he's a family oriented because he mentioned his wife and his daughters. He only has daughters. He has four daughters, and the youngest one encouraged him to do Mulan because he said he didn't want to do it. You
Mm,
know, thing, and he just didn't want to do it. Just don't want to do it anymore. So he said he's doing it for her because it's kind of showing my daughters that they can do anything they put their mind to. They can be warriors too. I was like, yes, okay. So the movie kind of reflects that, but that was his whole thing. But it really like hit me when he started, Aaliyah came up and you could just see, the
right.
he got hold it. I mean, even after all that time, because they're saying it's over 20 years ago, right? So I thought that was great, and how he thanked the Black community for his success in America. So once again, it was us. Once again, it's us. It's always us. So I just thought that was great. So when they talked about him in Luke Cage, so have a soft spot in our heart for the Godfather, Carlito's Way, and Scarface, and also Jet Li and Bruce Lee. So
Yep.
yeah, yep. So and then Wu Tang. Okay, all right. So there was a score around that scene. So with RZA music, so it kind of very cohesive in that way. Um,
Mm.
so let me see. Let me go through. Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
this
Ghost
is the
Dog is
part.
on
This
my list for one of the greatest movies of all time for me. Ghost
is
Dog.
yes. Go. Oh, yeah. Okay. Forrest, right? Everybody loves that
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, everybody loves that movie, and Oscar, I think. Um. Okay. So before Cottonmouth sends all the goons out to go and rob the whole community, right? they had he had a meeting with people that work for him, the goons, right? I call them goons. I call it
Mm.
a solution meeting on how to stop Luke Cage. That's what I call it. He had everybody rounded up in his office, and one of them was named Coco, and he said he'd been reading. And he had a book in his hand. He's been reading, and Cottonmouth was laughing at him. What do you mean you've been reading? And he said I've been reading about politics and the social conditions that created hip hop. That's what he said he was reading. So that's what the book was called. And he said the Dodgers left Brooklyn. That's what he said. He said Robert Moses created the Cross Bronx Expressway and white folks went running for the suburbs. That's what he said. And he said a guy named Moynihan went to Nixon and told him that maybe the inner city could benefit from the benign neglect. From benign neglect. And he went on to explain what benign neglect was, because at this point, Cottonmouth was laughing at him, he was getting frustrated with him, right? So he says the meaning of it is if they leave, if we leave Luke Cage alone and give him his side of the street, they can take their side. That's what he was saying. Right away, Cottonmouth takes a gun out and shoots him. Just kills him, like right there. Just kills him right there. Like ceding to this guy. We're not doing that. That is not an option. And I mean, he struck fear in all of his people. I think that was the point of that, him shooting and killing, that man, which was out of line. I wouldn't put that in the same category as treason or anything like that, or the guy being a traitor. Like, I think he was just giving his, like a solution to the issue that they had. But because they were so what it was that everybody was afraid of Luke Cage because they seen what he could do. That was the whole point. They were no longer scared of Cottonmouth. They were afraid of Luke Cage and was willing to concede to him. So that would make him the king of Harlem, right? And then Cottonmouth basically, without saying anything, basically was saying, oh, hell no, this is not happening. Shot this guy to put fear in the rest of them. Okay, to increase the morale. It's horrible, but he did what he set out to do. He said he's not doing that. He said this guy took all my money. It's sitting in the precinct somewhere. Y'all gonna go out there, get the money, and let them know that Luke Cage did it. So it was war at that point. So I just thought that was interesting that he was reading a book called Politics: The Social Conditions That Created Hip Hop. It kind of didn't fit with anything, but that phrase there, that term there, it's not even a term, it's like a phrase or an idea or a theory. Benign, meaning we can share, give him a part of it and I'll take the other part, just to bring some peace or whatever. So, which I don't think works.
Styles, look at politics. Like there was no there's no discussion in that organization in regards to anything other than totalitarianism. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no room for none of that shit. We're not sharing shit. You understand? Like there's nothing to share. Like what? He said what? You've been reading books.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you looking at that, you can't have that shit. There cannot be any dissension. You understand?
Yep.
When you're there, you just talked about it earlier. What Lord Jamal's comment was like, this would have been the price for it.
Right.
This is would have been the price.
Right.
Like he said, only 4 projects. Don't you think that shit could have happened? But then after that, how do you have to spend the rest of your life? However long you live it, because it's a limited time. You see what I'm saying? The same cats that'll run with you or run up on you. You understand?
Right.
Like so, there couldn't be any kind of seeding in the mind outside of what the construct was. None of that. There wasn't none of that shit. You see what I'm saying? So he was determined. So again, with the centers of power shifting and changing, the motherfucker can't be thinking about no goddamn Luke Cage. You see what I'm saying? Motherfucker, like, we're going to share Luke Cage. Like, yo, this motherfucker went in the bitch and took all my money, and I got a motherfucker in my camp talking about.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, to skint his ass alive.
That made me mad. Right. You was scared to him alive. He shot him. Like, you come in here with that.
You put him out of
what is he talking about? I could just hear Ghostface Killer in my mind. Like, what is he talking? What the What are you talking about?
Is he dead? Is he dead?
What the? He's got all kinds of blood. All of what are you talking about? What Of course he's dead. Oh my God! Like, yeah, yeah. That's the. I mean, the
Is
guy
he
was afraid
fucking
of
dead?
Luke. He was wrong. Look, he was afraid of the wrong person. That was the point. That was the point. You need to pay attention over here, not worry about what's going on over there. So everybody fell in line and did what they needed to do. And Sage, of course, showed up, like I said, at his club. Um, Cottonmouth was like, "So you want to be the king of Harlem?" That's what he said. He said, "I don't want to be
Right,
king." He said, I just want peace or whatever." So he's looking at him as a stranger. He said, basically, he said, "This is my town. This is how we do it. This
right.
is how we do it." And I'm with him on that. You have some outside here, don't know what's going on, causing all these problems because you have no understanding of our struggle. I'm sorry. We look the same, but you're a stranger. Investigation, okay? Everybody needs to be investigated. All new persons coming in or who want to get in you have to make sure everybody's on one accord. What the scriptures say? Yeah. So, because see how easy it was for Luke Cage to take? It was easy. It was easy for people to just walk in. That fool walked in, that little Puerto Rican walked in and was eating candy and throwing it on the floor. Did you see that part? He's dropping the candy wrapper on the floor. I mean, disrespectful. Like, oh my goodness! Like trying to show me you're not the man anymore. Everything you worked hard for. That's basically what it was. Somebody gonna come in and we worked hard for this, and this is generations. This is not the first generation. This is generations of work that went into what he had and what they had going on. So that matters. So it was kind of like, by any means necessary, we're going to hold on to this. And that's the attitude he had. So that was great. And then the let me see, Shades. So Shades recognized him, who he was. He was the guy. He said that Luke Cage should have been dead already. So he linked him back to the prison. Something happened at the prison that gave him
Hmm.
these hero qualities or whatever. Do investigations with that. So then I believe at this point, this is when he went back to Diamondback and told them this. So that's where that beef came from. They Shades talked to um Cottonmouth and got it, and he told Cottonmouth about some connects that Diamondback had. Now now look at this. Ukrainian East European connection. Ukraine is a war zone, if you didn't know. Don't want to go there. Or Crimea. You don't want to go there. And then he also had a South American hookup. Okay, if you know anything about South America, you in the wrong place, you get jacked. So, or you'll never show up again. And they were dealing with military grade weaponry. This thing, it was a gun, and Diamondback said there's a bullet for everything. Even Luke Cage, there's a bullet for everything. Okay, and I'm going to reiterate this. There's a bullet for everything. Okay, everything. Remember the Avengers? Hawkeye had
Right,
the arrow
right,
bomb on it. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay. So it kind of worked like that. So you shoot this bullet and it goes into the bulletproof jacket, right? And then like 5 seconds later, it sparks and it blows your insides out. Boom! And you dead. Cottonmouth jumped up. He was like, "Oh my God, that's the illest thing I've ever seen." See, that's my word. That's ill. That's my word. So when he said that, I was like, yes, yes, yes. So he said, "Damn, that was easy." That's how we get. when we see stuff like unbelievable stuff, so the excitement behind that. So this is the thing that they use to hurt Luke Cage. So that comes in like the next episode and so on and so forth or whatever. He was hurt. He was. And then, because Diamondback found his weakness, understood because they were both in prison together. He was also had gone through the experiment. Plus, he was smart, like that's all get out, creating, all kinds of things. But this was way beyond his skill set. He had to go all the way to South America and Ukraine, where the brightest minds are who created this bullet. So to mess with. And that is why I'm upset about season 2. But we did come to a consensus that it would overshadow Luke, right? The star of the yeah, because that man that's a bad man. That's the one they didn't want to show. And then that was the problem. I think Diamondback was the problem ultimately. So
They replaced him with the more unyielding, relentless type of mind. Nobody had anything on Bushmaster. Nobody. With his will to get adjudication, with his will to get what was correct for his ancestors, everybody was driven by something. You see what I'm saying? So there was a limited scope and power. Um, Cottonmouth was driven by power. You see what I'm saying? So it was short
mhm,
lived. Mariah was, she had the Godfather in her. You see what I'm saying? She had the Godfather in her.
mhm.
She wanted to clear up her ancestral debt by legitimizing them
Right.
because of
Right.
the ills that was associated with her family name. This is why she was Dillard instead of Stokes. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Right.
So all of the bloodshed and everything that went along with what her family was doing, she didn't want that to be associated with her. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Right. Mhm.
with John McKeevy, aka Bushmaster, his completeness, like Diamondback was there because Diamondback was wrong. He had real issues with Luke Cage that went to their familial ties. You see what I'm saying? With their mothers and their father. You see what I'm saying? That's that story right there. You know, that's a Cain and Abel story right there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, you looking at that. So this is what motivated him. I mean, it wasn't money. It wasn't none of that shit.
Diamondback was a great
He
killer.
he was the Joker.
Yeah, he was a
He was
killer.
he was the Joker. Like when, if you remember, there's a couple of scenes in the Batman in regards to Alfred is talking to Batman about the people that he's facing. He was talking to him about Bane, and he talked to him about the Joker. He's like, there's certain people that are motivated by certain things, just to paraphrase, and the Joker ain't motivated by none of that shit. They showed all of that money in that room while he was talking about him. That was in the form of a capstone of a pyramid. A pyramid. Joker went in there and burnt all the fucking money. He said my half was on the bottom. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so the money, there was no motivation behind that. You
He
see
was
what I'm saying?
crazy.
So there was nothing that Diamondback wanted other than revenge.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? To honor his mother's name, though.
Mhm.
His
Because he
mother
was
was passed
illegitimate,
out.
right?
Right. Yeah,
He was
right. You see that?
neglected. Yep, he was
That's
neglected.
our story, ain't it? Ain't that our
Right.
story?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was motivated by a different kind of thing. And
Cain
this
and
is why
Abel.
that Diamondback snake. You see what I'm saying? Like that's a different kind of snake that come to get you. It's not. You know, it's not a cobra. You know what I'm saying? It's not a python. It's a diamondback. That's a deadly motherfucker right there. You see what I'm saying?
Bulletproof.
So
Yep, bulletproof.
right. So he put that together as his motivation. This was his driving force. Vindication. You see what I'm saying? So vindication of his mother's name. And then you put all of that together, everything else, and you got Bushmaster. Bullets couldn't stop him. Nothing could stop him. And he wasn't a fool. He studied Luke Cage. He sent his boys at him. He taped him. He broke out that Capoeiro. You understand? He studied the fight tape and he beat the shit out of Cage. He beat the shit out of him. Like, it didn't even fight him. He beat his ass. Like, he fucked him up. He destroyed him because he studied him. He understood what it was. It was a different kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? And he was moving by an ancestral spirit that would not be denied. Nothing could stop him. Nothing. You see what I'm saying? That's a different kind of. How do you fight that? This is what they claim was in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is what they claim was in Vietnam. This is what they claim that was in Somalia. All that together.
It is. It is.
And he
You know it
showed
is.
that fighting spirit from those brothers and sisters that lived in the motherfucking mountains. Those bushmasters. Not the rightful. Those motherfuckers who had mastered nature and was cutting off them heads of the motherfucking crackers that got Jamaica free through bloodshed. You understand? Under the direction and the guise of that African woman, Queen Nani. You understand? Like all this other shit that you see, like the music and the dance and the weed and shit, that ain't Jamaica. Like he redeemed Jamaica to its core and its essence of what it was. And it got them free. Then they went back, like he looked at them common men and shit, like they was fucking losers. The only reason why he ain't do it because they was family. You see what I'm saying? Like he was like, nah. He was like Johnny. Them calling me Bushmaster now. Who the fuck said who's Johnny? Who the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? So it was a different kind of essence and feel. That's why I want to get into it because I want to paint that picture of that unrelenting force that comes from us and that flows through us, that's personified in this character who represented every aspect of that warrior that exists within us that's motivated by the vindication of our ancestral spirit and the return to our culture. You see what I'm saying? That's why he's so important. I seen that. I said, "Oh man." I was looking at all these other characters, Joker, Bane, all that shit. I said, "None of these motherfuckers ain't got shit on Bushmaster." You know, I seen Bushmaster and I seen Inchidaka. I was like, "Man, this is it. This is it." That's a different kind of spirit right there.
Yeah.
That's the
The
we know. That's that Will the Executor. That's that Nat Turner. That's you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying like yesterday was transition day on the 14th, so that's her spirit. That's the spirit of a reformer, of a restorer that comes in to destroy everything that was coveted. Oh, she got money. Oh yeah, let's take the money. You understand what I'm saying? Let's burn this motherfucking house to the ground.
mhm.
You know, all of the idols that was there, everything that was propped up as something. Like he didn't want that shit for himself. That meant nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just talked about the man on the top of the hill. That mentality, I'm telling you that. Anyway, we talk about that shit tomorrow or whatever. But that's what mine was. Like I'm telling you, when I saw that shit, I said, "Oh hell no, there ain't gonna be no motherfucking season three." Mariah's ancestors. I said, "Oh shit, nah, this is too much going on right here. It's too much. It's too much. They can't do this. They can't do this again. Ain't no way in the hell."
Yeah, he
But
went
as
too
long
far.
as it,
Hmm?
yeah, he went too far. He went too
Went
far.
too
As
far.
long as it's up there, Folks should be looking at it and kind of taking a picture of what a what a real family look like. You know, that shit was ill. I like that shit.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
showed you. No, he didn't have to be a science project. He used magic in by way of herbs that come from nature.
he showed you that that artificial shit don't work. That's what he showed you.
Hmm.
That shit work on
Right,
them motherfuckers.
he did show it. Yeah, he was beating Luke Cage down.
Luke Cage was on the
Science
top of the
project.
hill and he knocked his ass off that motherfucker in
Yep,
one match.
yep.
He couldn't get no money, no endorsements, none of that shit. He was like, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm the stone that the builder refused." I said, "Oh, you better talk that shit." Boy, damn it.
Science versus magic. A lot of people will say that magic is science. It's different, and that showed you. Season two
It's a
showed
different kind
you
of
the
science. It's a
difference.
science. It's a
Right,
sacred science. It's in how
right.
rooted it's artificial.
Well, the modern term for it would be alchemy. The modern
I don't
term.
know.
A modern term for it would be alchemy.
I don't know about that shit.
Yeah, that's how they're defining it.
Who
And
defining it like that?
you know who. So I don't know what to call it.
The devil is not welcome here.
Yeah, yeah, yep. You see,
You remember that shit from Bad Boys too?
yeah, yep. Bad Boys too. I mean, they have the snitch. He was selling all the materials to build an altar. I mean, you saw it there. He also had a Buddha in there sitting there, like this random Buddha, in there. So, yeah. But you saw it, and then when you went into the pink house, you saw it in there too. And even the colors represent something. The color of the house, the color of the inside house is blue, I believe. So do with it too. I don't know anything about magic, so and I haven't done like proper research for it, but all that matters. It's a craft, to say the least, and you have to be it has to be passed down. This thing. So he found. So when he came to New York, he kind of bumped into this woman. And she would be known as a witch. You know, she calls herself a herbalist. You know, owning a apothecary, but he was like, "How do you know how to make that? You know, can you make this? Do you know how to do this?" She's like, "Well, I believe I can make a mixture of, you know." And how did she know how to do that? How did she know what works to give this man power? I don't think she understood the power behind it, but she was able to all together to help him. And then, you know, people say um, um, all the in the scriptures, all the green herb is there as your meat or whatever. Not all of it. As you can see, you eat the wrong herb, you can be killing yourself. You can die because of its
Hmm.
potency and things like that. And everything is not edible. That down. You know, we shoot that down. So no, you have to know what kind of meat you're supposed to be eating. You can't just eat anything you want. They like to pull that, and you certainly can't eat all the green herb. So, you know, there's like what you call that balance that everybody likes to talk about.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so he was able to find he had the rage and spirit, and they kind of marry that together with the witchcraft. So, I get it. And he was coming with
Righteous.
some another yeah, right. He was coming with a different kind of spirit. I don't know what you call it, a righteous spirit that come from anger, or is it
Love.
come out of love, right? Okay.
You know,
So Luke
um,
Cage,
like anger doesn't come. It doesn't last long, and this is why he was conflicted. This is why Luke Cage had that concussion, and he was walking around defeated because he walked into every situation as the one with the edge. You see what I'm saying? Like so, bullets couldn't stop him. So it was demeaning and demoralizing to people. Like he just looked at a couple of people like, really? You know what I mean? Like they ain't tell you who I was and shit. You know, that was the whole thing about the hoodie getting shot up the whole time. Like he could never keep a clean one. You see what I'm saying? Or one without that kind of, thing on it or whatever. So it was a part of that was the signature aspect of him. But now when you walking up against somebody that you clearly outweigh, that you clearly supposed to be able to overpower, and they beat your motherfucking ass like nothing. He was messed up thinking about the what was it, the girl or whatever, and homie just kicked the shit out of him. You see what I'm saying? Like laid him out. It was like, that shit was funny. It's still funny. You know. So that whole situation with that, these artificial things that you have versus what this actual skill is, you know, it was interesting to see that.
Well, he called it. Well, Luke had a different spirit. Yeah, I don't know if it would be the same spirit because he referred to what was it, Luke 4:18. I don't rock with it, but this is what was said in the TV show. So what it says is that the spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of the sight to the blind, to set a liberty them that are bruised. So that's what he made his calling to be. So
Hmm.
that was his thing. And then the Cottonmouth said, after the people came to him with pitchforks or whatever, to Luke with pitchforks, Cottonmouth said, "There is a cost to be a savior. Ask Jesus." Once again, taking shots at JC. So yeah, yeah, shots fired, right? So yeah, so you running around trying to be a savior, savior.
Trying to
You going
play
you
right.
going to die, right?
Yeah. So you really run up on a righteous man. See,
Yep. And
his
this,
master was
and because
righteous.
you brought up spirit, right? To spirit, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think I think that's it. I think that's it for that. I was going to update you so far on the lingo. I mean, this was up to what, episode 5. So that's almost
Mhm.
halfway through it, and it's right here. So notable mentions. Um, so these are quotes from the movie. Um, I don't want to hear that noise. Mariah said that. Um, you got me all up in the Kool-Aid. She said that too. How many times you heard that? Like I had
I
not
was
heard that
gonna
in
say
a
that
long
earlier.
time.
I was gonna say that earlier. I was gonna say that earlier. All of the Kool Aid don't know the flavor until Lord Jamar. That was funny.
Oh man. And here we go. This brother got more jobs than a Jamaican. That was mentioned. Yep, that was mentioned. Yo, pass me the rock. I was like, oh, I haven't heard that. I know about that because I've heard it out of them. But like on the street, do they still say that on the street? I don't think so. I haven't heard it. But pass me the rock. Then somebody yelled 5-0. That's ours.
Damn.
All right. Yep. The next one is check these fools. That's right. Check them. Make sure we know who they are. You got to get checked, like I said. Some dude in a hoodie rolled through. So that was another one. Um, don't make me choke you out. I may have said that maybe once or twice. Um, I didn't see that. And you saw that as a recurring thing throughout the 5 episodes so far. It's like black nothing. This dude got shot. He asked him who shot you. I didn't see anybody. That was through the whole thing. I didn't see nothing. I didn't see his face. Nope, I don't know. He's the one girl said I'm pleading the eighth. He said, "You mean the fifth?" She said, "Yeah, whatever that is." That's what she said. Yep, yep. And I remember an elder said that snitching. He happens to be a cop, so I couldn't take him seriously. He said, uh, "In Israel, we are supposed to tell, you know, snitch." Um, and he's saying that we're supposed to snitch because when we keep things to ourselves, problems escalate. That's how you keep sin on the land and everything. I had about that for a moment. I don't know about that because you know how Israel rolls, especially Old Testament. Sometimes you want to kind of spare your brother or your sister. They did something wrong. You're not gonna just go run up to authorities and start screaming around the town that this person did this and did that. They could be rehabilitated or couldn't try to make this thing up, right? So snitching all the time is a not snitching all the time is a bad thing. What you think about snitching?
Next question.
Nah.
Talking about that shit. What else you got for Luke Cage? Ain't nobody dealing with that.
Look, throughout the whole thing, they made it a point to put that in. Black people don't say nothing, and it's the truth. And it's a reason for that because everybody don't need to know what's going on. And that's how I feel about it. Everybody don't need to be knowing what's going on over here. Other people don't tell you what's going on over there. Um,
It used to be that we handled our own business. That's why ain't nobody saying nothing.
right.
It look like they be talking shit about church. That's why I be laughing sometimes. Um, there's a reason why certain people came to church.
You get the news, right?
No,
No? Oh,
no,
what?
an alibi.
Oh. Oh, you saw you and you could just bounce out the back or the side door. Yeah. Yeah.
You might have put in some work. You might have put in some work. Oh, he been here with us. Oh, she been here with us the whole time. The whole community. Pastor and singing everything. Might put in
Yep.
some work.
Yeah.
You gonna tell me about
Yeah. We
church?
got
You gonna disrespect the black and the deacons for defense and justice? Where did they come from? Where did
talk
them ex
about it.
vets, them war veterans come from? Out of what are you talking about? Like, yo, you bugging? Are you stupid?
Yeah, somebody said that. Oh, the black church condones sending our children to war and stuff like that. This racist. I think that's a good thing. See, that's a great thing.
Oh, so who's killing the Klansmen that showed up in in the community trying to rob and pillage? Who made sure that they got their ass up out of there? What you talking about? Like they don't tell it, man. Like the detriment to us not knowing our people make us say the craziest shit in the world and dishonor them, dishonor their legacies and everything that they put in. You look up the Knights of Liberty and what their job was. Be telling me about some Black Panthers, and they're like the last people to come to this resistance struggle for us. The last people to the party, the Native Black Panther Party. They the last people to the party. The fuck? Like I'm telling you, like you really be bugging with some of this shit sometimes. You know,
The problem is people try to force
church.
the issue. I think it's outside influence that because I had never heard that before. That the black church is this and this that or whatever until I came into a certain way. But um, you know, and when I try to explain to people that with Israel they broke into two. Some it wasn't just Israel and Judah. It was three groups. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know nothing about that. I haven't gotten that deep yet. but everybody wasn't on the same page. Everybody not going to understand certain things certain way. So, your own people even. So if it's just a reality that you're not going to all agree on everything. There's some of us that
Cameron
appreciate
said,
the
I
black
know
and some
shooters and they not from Pittsburgh. Remember Cameron said that shit? He said, I know shooters, no Steelers and they not from Pittsburgh. That's what he said. I know Steelers and they not from
don't. Oh man.
Pittsburgh. I'm telling you,
So,
remember who you are out here.
right. So the next one is Step Off. That's an old one. I'm gonna start using that
Mm.
again. I'm gonna start using that again. Yep.
Step, step.
Yep. Yep. Step. I will cut your ass. Don't make me cut you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Blood
Now
spilling.
I got the
Yeah. And then we
now
go,
I got the
goddamn Negro. Now they're saying today, goddamn demon. You know,
mm,
you goddamn devil. That's what
mm.
I remember that. Goddamn Negro, yeah. And yeah, so that's what the phrases I got so far that you can find in black culture. Okay. I'm gonna use a step. Yep. So that is all I have for Luke Cage for now.
Lukey.
Yeah. Oh, the funeral director is on payroll. I forgot about him. He get rid of bodies. Paid to get rid of bodies. Yep. 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 So that's important. In
You
combat
know,
and
yeah.
yeah, military. Yeah, you got to have the coroner on payroll. So yeah. And let's see. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Um. Yep, that's it. All done. All done. I love that solution meeting to stop Luke Cage. That was hilarious. He was trying to educate himself, you know what I'm saying? Elevate his mind.
Hmm.
But non-neglect. It's interesting that man went to Moynihan went to Nixon. That's weird.
You read that report, right? I know you did.
Hmm? What'd you say?
You read that report, the Nottingham report.
I read it in a book. It was this guy who wrote a book about it, and I read the book, that book about it. I didn't read the report itself. I read what was in the book. People who
Shout out
try to
to
explain it down.
what we talked about yesterday. Queen Dad probably might have heard us. We was talking. I was like Arsenio Hall, things that make you go.
Yeah. Hmm.
So just up a video talking about Corona Cray and things that make you go.
Hmm.
Shout out to Queen Dad. Make sure y'all go follow her on YouTube and social media.
Who?
Queen Dale.
Oh, Dell.
Queen
Yep,
Dale.
yep, Dell.
Yes,
Yeah.
my sister. She
Hmm.
comes to do
How
the
could I
cook.
forget that? I forgot to tell you this. And it's the first thing on the page. And I don't know how I skipped over that. I forgot to tell you. The scene opens up in the club. There's some white boy rapping. I don't know his name. I ain't even go look it up. But I put question marks. I'm like, what is that? So he's in the club before he's going to perform. I don't know what that was about. That was weird to me. So yeah, I guess because he was rapping, that's hit. I guess that's rap music, hip hop or something. I don't know what that was. But yeah, I just had to throw that in.
Hmm.
Hmm.
We wasted extra time for that
Extra time for what?
to tell me about some disgusting ass cracker that was.
Well, I mean, it was in Luke Cage, and I have question marks next to it. I just wanted to, you know, that was weird for me. I'm just telling you that was weird for me.
That is weird.
Like, is he a mixie at least? Is he a mixie? I'm trying to look. I'm like, where's my glasses? Because instead of, I'm like, I think that's a full on white boy up in the up in Harlem Paradise.
Mm.
I said, what is Cottonmouth is really losing his mind. He really is.
Uh,
That's I'm like he
Luke,
crazy. You know,
you
because
know,
they had to do
I'm
that on purpose.
saying,
Maroons coming tomorrow.
oh yeah,
That was mentioned.
we acting like you gonna love season 2 now.
He told Luke, look, I don't know what you on or what you doing or what you think you doing, but I come from this over here. And with this you talking about over here. Okay, Luke, because you ignorant as all get out. You know, no idea what he was dealing with. So yeah.
Luke kids. You talk to him.
I mean,
You say, you want some coffee? He said, yeah, and I see me just have 2 cups. That man was a legend. That
walked
man
around
was
with an
a damn
attitude, a permanent
legend.
attitude, permanent attitude. Yeah, his hair was
Damn.
fly though. His hair was real fly.
Right.
Digging it.
Yeah.
He was wearing like purple suits. Or was that like a burgundy suit, a maroon suit? He did have a maroon suit on. I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but he was flashy.
Everything. Whatever.
Caribbean, they
Everything to do with
flashy.
everything.
We flashy
Yeah.
too, but I mean, down there they real flashy with the colors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, country black men can't get it right. Like my daddy can't get it right, but those colorful, but they do it good. Um, Bushmaster did it pretty well with the colorful suits. Know what I mean?
He said, Luke kids everywhere. Luke kids everywhere. You should watch season 2 again after because you
Yeah,
done got
I'm
over
him.
your trauma and your disdain for how they did Diamondback and just focus on season 2.
Ah, man, bulletproof, man. This dude was nothing to play with. Nothing. This guy was. When you enhance a black man, there's no stopping him. It's hard. So, just like in Trading Places, then he becomes enhanced, and look what happens. Smart cookie.
I don't know if we should do this over here. We should do this on the audio platform because I got all the clips over there. You can hear the clips. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that one day.
The clips, really? Okay.
Yeah, I got some of them. Anybody want to live? Now you can't live. Uh, what you know about the real Jamaica? In there with the NYPD in custody, they act like they got him.
I don't know what kind of Jamaican he was because I know Jamaicans that don't know nothing about Jamaica and that was born and raised there. So I don't know what kind of Jamaican
Yeah.
this guy was, which is
The
weird, right?
accent was shitty. It was like a shitty
I
Jamaican
think it was
accent, but it
good.
was no, it was audible. You know, You can't understand shit they talking about when they talking
It
with that
depends.
patois.
It depends. Some patois, maybe some patois is deeper than others. One of my friends is Jamaican. She don't, she just has like a small little accents, so that's it. But if you watch Raz Kitchen on YouTube, you can't understand nothing he's saying.
Exactly.
Nothing. He live up in the
That's
hills, in the mountains. I mean, the people in the community, you can't understand anything. And the guy who films them, he said he been going around there for 7 years, and he's just now understanding. So
hmm
yeah, so like I said, there's Jamaicans I know that don't know nothing about Jamaica. They really can't tell you nothing. They were born and raised there, but then they came here. They can't tell you nothing. So no, an authentic accent. And not only that, I mean, Trinis have the same accent. They all have that accent, but then they can tell where each other from, though. That's
say
the
that shit. You
thing.
better not say that shit out loud. You better not say that shit
Well,
out loud.
look, look to me. It sound all the same, right? But
You're from
speaking,
Antigua.
yeah, but
You're from the Virgin Islands.
right, but speaking of people who from the island, they'll say, "Yeah, we can tell who it's who,"
You know, that's a Trini right there.
as if there's a separation, though. Which I don't, nature knows no color line, explains all that, and it's real sad. But it is what it is. I know the Trini Jamaican ones talking. I made a mistake. No, I made a mistake and said Callaloo is Jamaican. I made that mistake. I had to learn that Callaloo came from Trinidad. I had to learn that the hard way. That was crazy. Which I still don't even understand all that. Like what? Know, multiple ways. There's different ways to make. I said, oh, Jamaicans make it one way. They only make it one way. Yeah, they make it one way. They didn't start out with that. I said, what are you talking about? Really? I thought it was Jamaican. So that was a fight. We don't have those problems. At least I don't think. I don't think we have those problems. But I do. Yeah, when I go down south, I have problems in my home. The hometown and everything because our accents don't match, and I feel like they set back in the 90s with those gold caps. Stop it. And then they get upset with us because we wear Timberland. How you wearing Timberland boots? It's like 90 degrees out here. Like, it's like back and forth the clowning. Yeah. And
Mm.
then I've never heard that music before. I don't know what that is. I said that's rap music. I don't know what that is. I have to ask them, what
What?
is that? The music they listen to down south. Like, I'm like, what is that? That's not. I said that's not dope. That's not dope. And they can't really tell you either. You talk about Jay-Z or something. They don't play that down here. I said, oh, okay. So I gotta get used to that whole thing. So, and we all in the same country, and it's so different. So, but it's cool. I said, where y'all get jobs at talking like that? Laugh is funny. My own cousins, and they get on me too. Why you sound Italian? I sound Italian, really? Yeah, Italian. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they call
I
the.
tell.
Yeah, that's what they say. You sound Italian. I said, well, New Jersey is the majority of people who live in New Jersey are Italians. We are the least
I, yeah.
minority in New Jersey. So I learned that from the Star Ledger. I said, oh, really? Oh, okay. There's more Chinese people here than us. I said, oh, okay. That's news to me. I didn't know that. Okay. So if you didn't know that, that was a fun fact.
and you suspect if you don't know it.
We got our first case of
So final
coronavirus.
thoughts.
That's my final thought.
Final.
We got our first connect. We got our first case of coronavirus here in Jersey in the hood. I still say it ain't one of us. It's not. We have gentrification going on, so I know for sure it ain't one of us. So, with that being said, I agree with Lord Jamar on that. You don't believe nothing your enemy says, nothing. I don't care what it is. You go do your research and figure out what is what. Everything ain't everything when you're dealing with them. And I think that's it. So, what do you want to say, or should I just say shalom?
I'm waiting for it.
You over there happy? Look at you. You so happy. You're
I'm over there
radiating.
making
You're
the words that
radiating. You're radiating over there. They got like this glow going on. You got that glow. You got that Leroy glow.
I am the glow. You know,
I am the glow.
that's what Samuel Jackson's character said in Changing Language. He said, "I don't need champagne. I am champagne." You
Mm,
know,
all right. Well, on that note,
I the glow.
on that note, I'm gonna say it now. Shalom.